One of the most common questions I get asked by people is, how much does it cost to live in Thailand? So I thought I would share with you my own experience after living in Thailand for more than a decade.
Wow.
In this video, we're gonna break down everything about expenses, money, and living cost in Thailand. I will also be sharing with you a few tips and tricks and break down my own expenses, so at the end of the video you will have a better picture and understanding if you have the budget to move to Thailand or come here for a longer period of time. Welcome to Thai Vibes. This will be a two-part video as there's a lot to cover. If you want to get the full experience, hit the notification button to keep you up to date. Living costs in Thailand is not an easy subject to cover. You can never predict another person's budget as we are too different and there are too many variables to include. What we can do is make a plan together, but it will require some work for you because you will have to make a budget, but trust me, it will be worth it. Therefore, if you want to prepare yourself, be ready with a pen and paper or maybe a laptop and a spreadsheet. Also, I have included timestamp in the description down below so you can easily find a subject. Let's get started. Now I know, talking finances can be boring and it's not always easy to get people's attention. But if you for a second closed your eyes and imagined yourself laying on a beach with a cocktail in your hand under the tropical sun, would you pay attention? Enjoy the video. The first thing I will briefly cover is something called life stages. What I mean by that is, are you young? Are you old? Do you have a family or do you want to retire? Also, do you want to stay in Thailand or do you plan to come to Thailand and travel around and then return back home? Can you plan the rest of your life ahead of time? No, you can't, and you shouldn't. But it's always a good idea to have an understanding of what can happen financially, especially if you go to a new country you don't fully understand. Let's say, for example, you're a young digital nomad that chooses Thailand as your new home. You might have a small online business that makes you enough money to have a comfortable life in Thailand. Then you meet a girl, you might have some kids, you might need a car and a new house. And all of a sudden this small online business you have does not make enough money for you to have a comfortable life in Thailand. My point with all this is quite simple. You need money to stay in Thailand. You might go, yes, Mr. Obvious, we already know that, get on with it. Yes, of course you do. But I have seen so many people in similar situations and it always comes as a surprise to them. See, what you have to understand here is that in Thailand you are mostly on your own. Nobody is coming with a bag full of cold cash if you can't pay the bills, support the family, or if you have an accident and go to the hospital without an insurance. Therefore, and this is important, if you want to come and stay for a longer period of time in Thailand, have some savings, some passive income, or some other form of financial backup, because unless you have an unlimited credit card, you will find yourself in situations in Thailand where you will need some backup cash. Alright, let's talk places to live and accommodations. Please keep in mind that when I say things are expensive, they are probably still much cheaper than you're used to back home. So what I find expensive, you might find crazy cheap. Ask yourself this: would I like to live close to the beach with lots of actions and everything available around the corner? Great. Then it will not come as a surprise to you that you might pay a bit more if you choose a town or a city like Pattaya, Phuket or Bangkok to call home. If you are a person that can settle for less, want to live a bit cheaper but still have access to a little bit of everything, then you could consider the north in a city like Chiang Mai or central Thailand in a city like Hua Hin. If you don't mind growing your own food and live in a rural area without too many shopping malls, then the Isan area is definitely the cheapest place to live. Now let me give you a quick house tour while we talk about renting a house. This house is a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. It's 70 square meters and the property is around 200 square meters. Now the reason why it's so cheap is because it's about 20 minutes outside of Hua Hin. And it's also quite an old house, so don't expect too many luxury things. We pay 7,000 baht for rent, 1,200 baht for electricity, 50 baht for water, and around 1,100 baht for internet and a TV package. So around 10,000 Thai baht for everything per month. A few quick tips when finding a place to live and accommodations. Always get a rental contract in both Thai and English and read it through thoroughly so you know what is included and what is not. Don't pay too much in security deposit. Usually 1 to 2 month rent plus 1 rent up front is okay, not more. Last tip for when renting a house. I know it can be tempting to rent a house with a pool for your selfies and your midnight dates, but unless you have the budget to actually support it, or maybe kids that's actually going to use it, don't get a pool villa. It's too expensive in both maintenance and electricity, and ask yourself this, do I really need it? Take this last advice with a grain of salt, because if I had the money, I would probably get a house with a pool. But if your money is tight, this is a great way to save some Thai baht. If you have made it this far and enjoy the video, please consider subscribing as it really helps the channel. Moving on. Okay, it's time to talk about food. Now I'm sure you all have heard that Thailand is very cheap when it comes to food, and you can have a meal as low as 50 baht. Again, I would like you to ask yourself this. What kind of food do you enjoy and need? And what would be a normal day eating for you? If you are like me, you can pretty much eat Thai food 365 days a year, although not always enjoyable. Eating out or cooking at home pretty much costs the same, and if you learn to go to a Thai market, food will be quite low on the budget. We spend around 15 to 20,000 baht per month on food, and that is with the occasional steak. Now, would I like to spend more money on food? Yes, definitely, because sometimes I do crave some more upper class food, but my own budget can't support it. That leads me to my next point. If you want to go out and dine on expensive restaurants, it can definitely cost you. Now you might say that spending 3 to 5,000 baht on a meal is not very expensive, but for some people it is. Do yourself a favor and try to write down what you spend and on what in 1 day and 1 month at home, and then do the same when you come to Thailand. This way you will have an idea what your normal budget is compared to a Thai budget, and many people often get surprised of how much money they actually spend on food when they are in Thailand. Now let's talk about transportation, and while we do so, let's go for a ride. Now I think I've mentioned it many times before, but renting a motorbike or a scooter is definitely one of the easiest ways to get around in Thailand, especially if you only need to go short distances. A motorbike will cost you around 300 baht per day or 8 to 12,000 baht per month, depending where in Thailand you want to rent it and what kind of bike you want. Of course, this is just an average. If you want to drive a chopper or a speed demon of a bike, then naturally it's gonna cost you more. If you rent a bike, please make sure to check it for damages before you take it out for a ride, so they won't charge you for any kind of damage when you return it. Now, gas in Thailand is also pretty cheap. I drive around 50 kilometers a day and I spend 1,000 baht per month for gas. If you come to Thailand for a longer period of time, I strongly suggest you buy a bike if you get the chance. It might require a long-term visa, a work permit and/or a Thai bank account. Or if you have a Thai girlfriend or a friend, you can put it in their name. A typical bike will set you back around 60 to 80,000 baht, and then you'll have to pay a few thousand baht per year for insurance. But that's pretty much it. Bikes in Thailand are incredibly sturdy. I have driven around 250,000 kilometers on my bike for the past 14 years, and it's still going strong. If you are here in Thailand, even just for a year, it's a great financial choice to buy a motorbike, as they lose their value very slowly after the initial 30% taking it out from the shop. That means that if you basically want to sell your motorbike, you can sell it again for a decent chunk of money. Cars, on the other hand, is expensive, especially if you want an imported car, as the import tax is quite high. Insurance can be tricky and expensive, and it's much harder to sell a car than a motorbike. A car is also much harder to drive around town, especially during peak hours where the traffic can be crazy. My suggestion, therefore, would be wait buying a car until the need is there, and also until you have learned to navigate the often crazy Thai traffic. Get a motorbike instead. Now let's talk a little bit about everybody's favorite subject, which is probably the visa. Now the visa cost is gonna vary a lot. It will depend on what kind of visa you're getting, how long the visa is going to be valid for, what agent you are choosing, or if you're a masochist and do it yourself, what day it is, and if the immigration officer's favorite football team has won the latest match. I think you get the point. It can be hard to predict the visa cost. A normal tourist visa costs 1900 Thai baht to extend. And if you choose to make all the visa preparations and all the paperwork yourself, you could probably make a lot of different visas for under 5000 baht. However, the time it would take to make your own visa would be massive, and the rules are changing constantly, so you would never 100% know what is going on and what the visa cost is going to be. If you want to get a visa like an education visa, a retirement visa, a marriage visa, or a work permit, my suggestion would definitely be to use an agent. I pay around 15,000 baht for a marriage visa valid for 1 year, and it's worth every single baht. Do your research about visa before moving to Thailand, as it can be an expensive hassle to navigate through it all. So, we are missing all the expenses for nightlife, girlfriend/wives, daily life, kids, insurance, health, retirement, sports and hobbies, and of course all the unexpected expenses. All of this will be covered in part number 2. If it's already here, it will be somewhere around the screen. See you soon. สวัสดีครับ